Welcome to the Big Kickoff League of Ireland podcast with myself, Roy Shanahan, and Nathan Doyle from the BigKickoff.com. And Nathan, it's been Champions League and Europa Conference League week, and I don't know about you, but it's been a bit of a disappointing week in Europe for me.
Yeah, we'll start with bad news. We love a bit of bad news on the Big Kickoff, don't we, on the League of Ireland show. We had a casualty, didn't we, with the European teams. Unfortunately, Derry City fell at the first hurdle. It was against Riga FC, Latvian side. We even said when the initial draw was made that they had the most difficult draw out of both Shamrock Rovers and Sligo Rovers, and it turned out to be beaten 4-0 on aggregate over the two legs, 2-0 in the Roy McBarron Brandywell, and then 2-0 this evening actually over in the Sconta Stadium. So yeah, it turned out to be the most difficult draw. It's just a Riga side that not only they're midway through their season, which is a major advantage. Like, we're going to get on to Shamrock Rovers and things like that, but they really reap the benefit of summer football where Derry City couldn't. It's a side that's midway through the season. It's chock full of international talent, Greece internationals, obviously a lot of Latvian internationals, things like that. It really just turned out to be too much for them, didn't it, in the end?
It did. They didn't really look in the game. And I was watching the first game, and they didn't... I can't say they really put too much of a glove on Riga. There's bits of pressure and stuff like that, but Riga just looked a little bit classier,
sharper, didn't it?
Sharper, yeah. You know, there was, they did a bit more class than them, and I suppose if we go through to Sligo, and we'll kind of accumulate it here, because if we go through to Sligo, when we look at Sligo, who were playing Bala, which is just after finishing for us, and Sligo have made it through on penalties, but again, not a very, very good performance.
No, if you would have sit somebody down that had no clue about these two teams and said, pick out the part-time side, you'd probably pick out Sligo. It's like the fact that they were playing at home, it was embarrassing to watch, you know, like a home side in Europe. You only had 2 shots on target in the whole game, Roy. I could be wrong. Did he have a shot on target in 90 minutes?
I don't think they did.
In extra time. Ed McGinty, again, I was saying for a while, I think he's the best goalkeeper in the league. He proved this night, he pulled off a string of 6 or 7 key saves. He kept them in the competition. Ed McGinty is the reason why they're getting a game now against Motherwell in the second qualification round. I thought Shane Blaney was probably the only outfield player that you could really say had a half-decent game. Will Fitzgerald looked a little bit lively when he came on, but it was only a short enough cameo. Yeah, the overall play, those...
I tell you, man, Heaney, who came on up front, gave them a lot of energy.
Some of the young lads did as well. Barlow as well, the young lad that came on, had a little bit about him. But the big players, you're waiting on Aidan Keane, that I thought was lost, completely lost, especially in the 90 minutes. He was really, really a standout, especially after getting his new 2-year contract extension. You think he'd be up for it. He was really, really poor on the night. Again, I thought David Cawley just looked miles behind in terms of when he's without possession. There was just no sort of standard of aggressive press. I think his passing was off all night. You could go through a lot of Sligo players here that just had a really, really bad off night. And it's sort of a course, isn't it, with Sligo win these European games. I think this is only the second time they've ever advanced in any sort of European competition. Saying the last year that they were in supposed to be a winnable tie against the Icelandic side, FH, and they were Mountwater tying the next one against Rosenborg, and they fell at the first hurdle. It looked like there was going to be something similar tonight, didn't it? With a potential clash against Motherwell seemed to be slipping away as the minutes went on. But even just got away from Sligo for a second, all credit to Ballatown.
Yeah,
they were excellent. They really were excellent. I thought they were a little bit hesitant to engage with Sligo in the first leg, and they obviously grew in confidence. He thought, we can get something out of them. You only 2-1 down coming into this game in the showgrounds. There wasn't a mountainous task ahead of them to try and get something. And even you see them in the dying seconds, there's like guys, Anthony Kay is pushing 40, David Edwards is 37. They played on for the entire 120 minutes and constant running, constant pressure. Had all of the major chances in the game, really. There was one chance in the end, right? You were saying you were sort of half looking at extra time. It was really harder to miss it. There was a ball in the butt again. Ed McGinty, a brilliant save, and he hit the crossbar twice, and it was just probably the stroke of luck the Sligo needed. But yeah, look, they got over the line just about, but they're going to have to improve. Because I do think I've seen people, Motherwell's a difficult tie. I think Sligo could put up to Motherwell. I really do. I don't think it's a...
They'd have to perform better than that, though, mate.
They're going to have to perform. Doesn't mean they're going to have to perform better than that, but it's not something... They're not going to roll over this Motherwell side and just take it on the chin. There's a definitely an opportunity for them to get past and advance even further in this competition and to make more the all-important European prize money. But if they show up with a performance like they did this evening, they're not going to get anywhere at all.
Yeah, I thought they were very, very sluggish. I didn't think there was much about them going forward in the final third, which seems to be a problem all the time when you look at some of the sides in the League of Ireland, but not only in the League of Ireland. I'm seeing it more and more. People trying to unlock teams who sit back. It's a difficult thing to do as well. What did you make of Shamrock Rovers? Because the week before we talked about Shamrock Rovers, they had won 3-0 against a Hibernian side who was their first game in their pre-season, albeit it's a Champions League game. But in the second game, they did a very professional job. I know that was what was said. That's what it was. They went in. They didn't try and push too many forward. They kind of just blocked off every avenue for them to get through. But I wasn't convinced by them at all. I didn't think in the first leg, I didn't think they were amazing or anything like that. I thought Hibs were they were poor, really, really poor, and they gave Shamrock Rovers the opportunity to take that lead over to Malta. So what did you make of the Shamrock Rovers performance over the two legs?
It got to help me out a little bit in the second leg. I was sort of half watching it between other things I was doing, but I was a bit more optimistic than you. I even said it on last week's show. In the first leg, I thought they were head and shoulders better than Hibernians. All I do understand now what you mean. A lot of it was given by Hibernian, wasn't it? Just they were miles behind with sharpness and fitness levels, and even basic things like small 10-yard passes were going wayward and just runs that weren't being made on behalf of Hibernians. It seemed to be what I seen in the second leg. I think just professionals. It's like pretty much what you were saying there, mate. It's professional. What was the word that you could use? It's a bit of a shutout more than anything else. I thought he would have went over and made a bit of a statement, put them to the sword a little bit. Didn't really tend to happen. Look, it's shaping up to be a lengthy one for them as well. I think they're guaranteed at least 3 more ties now, aren't they? They're going through now to play Ludogorets. That again is another very difficult tie in the second qualification round of the Champions League. It's unsuccessful there to drop down to the Europa League, then unsuccessful there to drop down to the playoffs for the Europa Conference League, which is the worst case scenario. So there is definitely a lengthy run in for them. Already guaranteed 1.4 million, which is brilliant. So that's going to add up a lot over time. Yeah, I did think in the second leg though they would have went out and made a statement against Hibernians that just didn't really come. What do you make out of it? Because you definitely you've seen.
The
second game.
I thought, they go out and do a job, you win 3-0, you're through to the next round. That's what it's all about. So, but it's not that. I think you touched on something not so long ago about the league itself, that the standard wasn't as good as it was last year and in previous years. You didn't feel that there's the games that you're watching were as entertaining, or it was lacking the quality that was there
in both divisions as well. Roy.
In both divisions as well, yeah. And you're not the only one who I've seen this up by many people who look at the game, study the game, and fans alike. Is this something that is catching up on the league now? Because you look at these European performances weren't obviously like the Dundalk and the Shamrock Rovers performances of before, but even Bows last year were terrific in Europe, and there is none of that quality in the league. That level of quality isn't there in the league this year, and you're seeing that in the European performances. Very, very flat, and we're halfway through our season. Like we said about Bala Town, that's their pre-season. Hibernians, that's their pre-season. So we're not really taking advantage. Yes, Rovers have got through and that's fine, but they gave away opportunities that they'll get punished in the next round. In the first game, they'll get punished in the next round for that. I'm just wondering, is it a case, what I think, that there's so many players leaving the league now and going to different clubs, whether it's Italy or Scotland or to England, that the quality within the League of Ireland has dropped its level?
Yeah, it's disappointing to see. And the one for me, again, just going back to Derry City for a minute, that was really disappointing to see them crash out in the way they did. It was a difficult tie. We said that. We know that's about, but this is Derry City squad that has plenty of talent in there, not probably to match with the Riga side, but there's enough to be somewhat competitive, and they just weren't at all over the two legs whatsoever. And we can talk about that it's a slow process, and they're only in the foundation building stage now, Derry, of a long-term goal going forward. But themselves and Shamrock Rovers, it's time for them now to really be walking up the coalition points and trying to improve our seeding and to get ourselves into the group stages on a consistent basis, especially Shamrock Rovers. Like I think if Shamrock Rovers don't get into a group stage, whether it be even the Europa Conference League, it'd be actually a bit of a disaster. I think this year, It's really is time for them to be making a mark. But yeah, I'm sure it is difficult when you're losing. It really looks like Danny Mendrea was gone. We'll talk about a particular Bohemians player that's making a move across the water. St. Pat's losing Dara Bourne so close out now to their European game as well. It's going to be a huge loss and trying to fill that gap over.
And even Sligo losing players during the season.
Even like if I'm hearing correctly down here in Sligo, right, that could probably be McGinty's last game for Sligo Rovers. There's multiple clubs in from Dundee are really, really interested in him. A lot of clubs in England looking at him too. So he'd be a massive loss for them as well, wouldn't he?
And with Johnny Kenny gone, and this the young talent that we're bringing up, and it's great that they're going on to these things. But then it kind of leaves a hole in the league for we're getting decent quality, but then we're letting them go very, very quickly.
It's sort of what do we want out of this, isn't it? Do we want to make ourselves consistent figures in these European group stages? Or do we not to be a selling league? Because that's where we are at the moment. We're a league that we're going to build up these players, but it's very important that we get the right money for these players and we don't get shafted in contract negotiations. There's no sell-on clauses or getting even some of the minuscule fees that we're seeing going. So it's sort of saying what you want. I'd love to see us be consistent and be regulars in the group stages, European competition. But on the other hand, you can't begrudge any lad that's going to move over. I thought Brexit would have slowed it down a little bit, but it seems to be picking up back again, doesn't it, Roy? Anytime
and can you tell
player goes over the age of 18, he's whipped away.
Yeah, can you tell me about McGinty? What kind of contract has he got? Because you said about Keena has had a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
What about McGinty? Like, I mean, have they put him down on a 2 or 3 year contract so they're going to be able to get a good fee, or is this one of these ones that they're going to get? I suppose they're arse bitten.
I think it is one of these ones, Roy. I think he's out of contract at the end of the season, so it's going to be a low ball offer, isn't it? And I think that's why I've seen so many clubs. Like, honestly, there's been lot of names being thrown around in Scotland and England. So it's not only Dundee coming in, it's not only a one-horse race. There's plenty in it. You know the quality he has, Roy. Like, I don't know if you agree or not. I do think he's the best goalkeeper.
No, he's been excellent every time I've seen him.
Yeah. I think you could put him and Alamanis up there as the top two. The rest is probably a little bit behind. Not miles behind, but they're the two standouts for me. I would put Ed over Allen. I think he's the better keeper. So young as well for a goalkeeper, so commanding. He has everything. I could be sitting here for a couple of minutes going on about his positive attributes as a goalkeeper and as a leader and a player as a whole. So you can see why, but I think it could be one of these that we could see him go for probably similar to what Danny Mandrea went for, which is it's scandalous,
that is scandalous, but it's scandalous on behalf of on the club's behalf, because it's not as if he sprung up out of nowhere at the start of February and they weren't ready for this contract. He's been there with them a few years now, so he should have been put down on a contract. And I don't get this thing where they can't give 3 and 4 year contracts to people that they believe in, young players that they believe in, like McGinty, because they just fit him into the budget. He's not going to get significantly worse next year and the year after. So they could easily give him a 3-year contract, knowing that he's going to be there in that club anyhow. He's a big player for them. There's no reason why not to give him the money. He's already got. You just make sure he's in that budget for the next year. It doesn't make any sense. They're going to have to put some money in. So I don't see the reason why they don't give him that 2 or 3 year contract. So that's poor business as far as I can see. When you go back to the quality, when you look at Shamrock Rovers and they're in the European games, you can see, or even in the league games, you can see the lack of quality there without the likes of Jack Byrne. When Jack Byrne comes onto the pitch, then it's a different Shamrock Rovers altogether, because he's picking out passes that the other players aren't picking out. He's able to squeeze balls through the centre midfield, through the gaps, through the lines, into centre forwards, on the run, on the move. And I think that's what's really missing when we've got the quality players that go missing, and you can see that yourself with St. Pat's, different team this year than last year. It really is. It's killing the league standard, but it's also going to kill their chances of progressing into the further rounds of Europe.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And again, you'd never begrudge your own lad going over, but. And yeah, it's something like Bourne as well. Like the injuries certainly don't help. Lost him at a key moment, didn't he? Graham Burke's another one that he's only starting to come back for Shamrock Rovers too. But not to be harping on by the same Pat's him, but it really is such a bad time for young Dara Bones to be leaving, coming into this European run. It's going to be a difficult run as well against NS Moray. This is a side that we've seen in the group stage of the Europa Conference League last year. There's going to be a lot of improvements needed, but positive to see both the Rover side progressing through to the next round. And finally, St. Pat's know their fate. They know who they're playing. It's been a long way.
Go on. So Pats will be delighted because they're through to the next round, obviously. Who are they playing and when are you going?
They're playing NS Moray from Slovenia, who did beat Tottenham 2-1 at home in the group stages last year. So no pressure, lads. Yeah, first leg is going to be in Richmond Park on Thursday the 21st, and then the away leg will be in about an hour outside of Maribor in Slovenia, Thursday the 28th. So that's when your boy will be going on his holidays to go watch St. Pat get spanked by you.
And how are you getting across? What's the plans?
I'm holding out for a charter flight. I was saying off camera, I was just trying to do it in a way, we're flying out of Dublin to anywhere at this stage.
I know, yeah, it's a risk.
Absolute head, isn't it? I might just get the 40 bus down to the street and just watch it here. That's a risk in itself, though, as well, sitting on the 40 bus in Dublin going anywhere. But yeah, so we're looking up, maybe, fly from Dublin to like Vienna and make our way from Vienna down, but it was just torn out to be banking on the charter flight from the club. So, yeah, anyone from St. Pat's listening in, drop us an email because I have my passport renewed. I'm ready to go.
Ready to go. Good. Okay. Well, that's going to be something exciting to see and to travel and hopefully.
I'm gonna vlog the life ever. Right? I'm gonna be one of them people.
Be one of them now. Okay. Well, we were only after talking about the league being, I suppose, talent being squeezed out of the league, which is not a bad thing, but we need to be financially rewarded for it so we can build on from that, and I suppose that's another day's conversation. But yet again, another one has gone. Dawson Devoy has left for the League One in England.
He has, Roy. This has been officially announced by both Bohemians and his new club, MK Dons. Dude, really gone into the market of the league, haven't we? We talked about Dara Bones a few minutes ago. He only left the MK Dons last week. And now Dawson Devoy has decided to join him on an undisclosed fee. Be interesting to see. I haven't heard that. Roy, have you heard that?
Not a thing.
What the fee could be. I haven't heard Mickey of what it could be. So we're keeping an ear out for that. 21-year-old midfielder. We've seen him in the Bohemian starting 11 the senior side since 2019. So again, a lad that's probably benefited from Brexit. He could stay at home, get a bit of extra seasoning. Get consistent men's football, which has been great to see. We were only talking about Bo's big European run last year. He was a vital part of that. He was the cup final against Pats. That'd be a big experience for him as well. It's made 88 appearances for the Bohemian senior squad, which great going with 21-year-old. I think he's a smashing player. I think he's one for me that if this isn't gonna be a bloody hot take, like saying, I've been looking at I think he's been great for years. A lot of people I've been a big Dawson Devoy fan for years, but
we were surprised he didn't go last year, Nathan. I thought
surprised. Yeah. Very, very surprised that he didn't move in the off season. I'm sure Bo's was delighted to get a hold of him, but yeah, Keith Long, the story of his life, losing another key.
And mid-season, it's such a killer.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Like, it's there's a couple of good young lads there. Like I like Conor Levingston. I think he could be someone. I actually thought Conor would have really put his stamp down when Keith Buckley left, so maybe that could be enough for him to slot in there. But to lose a player the quality of Dawson Devoy mid-season, and he's been so important for them this year as well. He's one of the top goal scorers, albeit I think 80% of the goals have been penalties, but he has been a vital component. And not only that, but in the midfield, he's so versatile, isn't he, Roy? He's you can talk about he's going forward and his ability, his range of passing, and his willingness to run at people with the ball at his feet. But I think defensively he's so underrated as well. He's tracked back so well. For a small lad as well, he's very physical on the ball. His tackling is always usually spot on. So yeah, a massive loss to anybody in the league, especially to a Bohemian side that are really going to struggle, I think, this season to get European football.
Yeah, and of course, when we see players go across, you'd love to see them go into Championship. You'd love to see them go into the Premier League. League One, well, it's touch and go. They're probably getting paid a lot more money than they are here. They're getting contracts that are a lot longer than here. But the level of football wouldn't be much higher than here. So it's our loss. And again, I hope that undisclosed fee is a good fee that they've got for Dawson.
I will say, Roy, before I move on, I get that a lot, and I hear a lot of people saying that when they go to like League One clubs or lower down FBL clubs. But I think it's the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that is hugely important, isn't it? Like MK Dons, the training facility, for the League of Ireland clubs, and the day in day out, like nutritionists and physiotherapists and things like that. I think you can't really compare the two to what they would have to League of Ireland, and that's what we need to be doing. That's what we need to be striving to achieve. We talked about this loads of times, haven't we? Like trying to make it into a full-time professional setup to a similar level. So I think that's probably the main, one of the biggest draws, rather than, it's very easy to compare the two of a standard of football over the 90 minutes, but the day in, day out, over the 365 days a year, I'd say it's different gravy to what you would have been getting at Bows.
Yeah, and hopefully this is a stepping stone to step up to the next level, which obviously is Championship, and then push on again. He has it in him. We know he has it in him. The same, we're talking about Motherwell, Ross Tierney, that they have it. These players have that level of ability in them, and they can only improve if they do everything right. So we want them all going and making Ireland challengers in the future for the Euros or the World Cup. We can always dream. Okay, Nathan Colins has officially, Nathan, become the most expensive Irish player in a transfer. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, he made his big money move to Wolves in the Premier League. 20.5 million pounds. Roy, if you want to walk there, you're going to convert that in your head there and show it out to us what that is in euros.
I think it's about 23 million or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah. Fair going. This is why you would have ended the operation. Fair play. 5-year deal as well, which is great to see. We're massive fans of Nathan Collins, Roy, aren't we? We talk about it a lot when we do the live streams at the Republic of Ireland games. 21, centre half, seems to have everything. Only made 6 Republic of Ireland caps, but that number's going to grow.
So far, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Even he spent last season, the 21-22 Premier League season with Burnley, and hugely impressive. Made 19 league appearances and was very consistent, wasn't he, over the two. Interesting thing I've seen today, actually, that Vincent Kompany is looking to bring Dara O'Shea into Burnley.
I've seen that too, yeah.
Replacement, so it could be a little bit of a swap out. I don't know why. I thought Jimmy Dunn was still at Burnley. I forgot he got his move to QPR. I was thinking, that'd be great for Jimmy Dunn to make the step up. Just one Irish lad after the next, a little revolving door system. But yeah, look, a bit about Nathan Collins. He started off his youth career with Cherry Orchard. Then we've seen him come to Stoke City. That's where he really started to make a name for himself and build a reputation. And then he really pushed on, didn't he, when he got that Premier League move to Burnley at the head of the 21-22 season. Will he play? Obviously, he's going to play in the Wolves team because it's mad money to spend. But, Wolves tend to play with a back three last year, didn't he? Like, they had a Willie Bolly who's 31 now. I'm not a massive fan of Willie Bolly, so that could be somebody you could slot in. Connor Cody's the club captain, so you imagine he's going to be there and thereabouts. But Max Kilman, young English lads, not that young, he's 23 or something, but right English lads that tends to play in that back three as well. Is there room for
yes,
Nathan? I think there's going to be with that money.
He's young. He's got great ability. We've seen it. First of all, at defending, he's well able to defend. He's good pace. He's able to read the game very, very well, read players very, very well. He's willing to put his body on the line. So he does everything that you want. He's a good header of the ball. Does everything that you want from a defender, but then comfortable on the ball, willing to play the ball around. And you've seen, obviously, the goal that he scored, an unbelievable goal. But yes is the answer. He can pass the ball. There's not a lot that he can't do. So, and now he's going to be stepping up his level even further again, which is absolutely brilliant. I look at Nathan Collins, and I seen there was a Stoke City forum, or it was a football forum, and there was a Stoke City fan on it, and seemingly Arsenal were looking at him, and this this fan turned around and had said, listen, I really think that Arsenal are going to regret letting them go to Wolves. I think they're missing out on a really good player. And his final words were, if Nathan Collins was English, Gareth Southgate would be picking him for the English squad. So that's someone from England saying that. And now, I obviously loved Nathan Collins when he was at Stoke, but we're all saying that. We're all saying that there's a solidness about him. There's a consistency about his play.
Yeah, there definitely is. That's actually interesting to say that, Roy, because about an hour ago, I was saying there was a top 6 team was looking at him. So I was actually wondering who it was. I think Nathan Collins will get into that Arsenal team. I think if you're going up to, like your Liverpool's, your Man City's, your Chelsea's, you'd worry about him at this stage in his career, maybe further down the line. Interesting that it is Arsenal. I do think he would have got in there. I'm going to put you on the hop a little bit, right? I'm going to put you on the spot. So he's obviously number one, the most expensive Irish player of all time. So can you fill in the blanks for the rest of the top 5?
Top 5. Well, Robbie Keane must be there.
Yeah, Keane is second. He's a Liverpool deal.
He must be second, third, fourth, and fifth, is he not?
I was looking at the top 10. The top 10, he's in it 3 times. I think he's in it with his Liverpool move. He's in it with his move from Liverpool back to Spurs, and he's in it with his Coventry move as well, I think.
Right.
But yeah. So Nathan's first. Robbie's second with his Liverpool deal and away for £19 million.
Okay, Damien Duff.
Duff is 3, spot on. For his Chelsea deal in 2003, that was
That's
7
right.
million.
Yeah.
So 4 and 5.
That is a good question now.
One of them will stump you out. I would have never thought. Number 5 will stump you.
Well, give me 5 anyhow.
James McCarthy, when he went to Everton in 2013 for 13.5 million.
Jesus.
I know, it's crazy.
Go on. The podcast will probably go on till an hour here for us to think about number 4. So go number 4.
People listening, those being number 4 is Matt Doherty from his Spurs. He's moved from Wolves to Spurs.
I should have got that one. Yeah.
Million. So right. Nathan Collins, Robbie Keane, Damien Duff, Matt Doherty, and James McCarthy, 5 most expensive Irish players of all time.
So far, because we've got a couple of goalkeepers there that could easily move for decent money as well. So so far.